Universal being oh so clever with their mirror image of an opening logo. I'm sure all the theater employees who had to deal with several idiots every day running out of the theater saying the movie was backwards found it oh so clever as well. Also, Sackmark. Also, 1 minute of Sogol. Wow, logos. 1 minute of goddamn logos. A super creepy version of the Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr. is playing in the background, and we wouldn't dare play it, among other reasons, because I can no longer listen to this song with the lights off.
You're under arrest. Get on your knees.
That is some super descriptive shadow puppeting. I struggle just getting a couple of bunny ears up on the wall, so the sin is for making me feel stupid and incapable of creating stick figures with this much detail. How dare you? A quick look at this picture made me think he was sticking his tongue out and doing a Budweiser "what's up." A closer look reveals this not to be true, but I'm still compelled to send deceiving police sketches. Lights with timers. Why is Sherman throwing a piece of candy at young William? Sherman's about to come out of the wall and try to share some of the candy he has in his hand. Does Sherman know there's an audience watching this film and they need a little suspense built up every scene? Humming ominously while emerging from a dark hole in the basement and expecting anyone to be happy to see you. This feels like I'm getting some Dr. Strange in my Candyman. Also, movie spends another minute and a half on building porn.
You nervous?
No, I'm about to become best friends with your sister.
Creepiest thing you could possibly say right now. Run, Troy, run!
What is this wine? Walgreens?
I was going to send the idea that Walgreens had their own brand of wine, but holy shit, they do. So now I'm sending that.
You guys want to hear a scary story?
They don't, Troy. No one, and I mean no one, ever wants to hear a scary story. No one ever wants to play Pictionary either. If one of your friends likes to play Pictionary, they are serial killers, and you should kick them out or leave the residence immediately.
She goes on a rampage, leaving a trail of bodies in her wake, and then the baby of one of the residents is abducted.
And that baby was... Anthony! I love how this Candyman film works itself into the mythology created by the first Candyman film. But the idea that Troy just happens to be telling this story to Anthony, who also has no idea he was a baby that got abducted, is all the convenient bullshit. Also, Anthony's interest in the legend after the story is essentially what brings Candyman back to life. Troy might be the most evil person in the movie. He's kind of responsible for this shit.
Moscato dessert wine.
While dessert may be the more typical choice for a sweet wine like Moscato, it can also pair quite nicely with spicy or salty offerings, Troy. What I'm saying is drink Moscato whenever the fuck you want. I do not look like this when I have my shirt off.
I guess you did kill a Rottweiler.
Of all the things in Troy's story to be questioning, whether or not Helen killed a Rottweiler should be at the bottom of the list. But for some reason, that's what Anthony is fixated on.
Your new apartment is ghost-proof. It was on the Zillow listing.
Making the ghost realtor canon in your franchise. Having sex in front of a giant open window. Have you seen Rear Window or a Body Double? This shit never ends well. Invest in some blinds or curtains.
I want the great black hope of the Chicago art scene of tomorrow. Dig into that history of yours, dude. Southside is kind of played.
This guy encapsulates the unassuming yet exploitative perspective that pats itself on the back for amplifying marginalized voices while simultaneously exploiting generations of suffering for its own financial gain. Everything he says in this scene is evil. This is well written, well acted, and deserves many sins off for its honest portrayal of an insidious form of racism that often goes unnoticed. Why is this picture of Helen Lyle next to an article that doesn't even mention her? And here's an article about Helen without a picture of her. Instead, shows a generic picture of a guy standing in front of a fire that was probably downloaded from Shutterstock's free images gallery. Can't be a Candyman film without some good old-fashioned bee foreshadowing. Bee shadowing? Forbeewing? A camera may have been harmed in the filming of this scene. Ian. Sudden Ghost Rider, but not the cool one. It's more like the Nicolas Cage one. Or is that the cool one? I don't know. Just weird artwork that reminded me of Ghost Rider. Let's not read too much into this scene. The movie clearly didn't. Even though Anthony has done nothing wrong, he hears the police siren and immediately jumps back. Despite the movie being about an urban legend come to life, the little moments like this feel very realistic and are way scarier than a Tony Todd cameo. I mean, we know that shit's coming, people. Regardless, here's a send-off for the little and meaningful touches this movie brings to the table.
They'd almost never come around here back in the day.
Don't mind me. Even though there's no way I would know you'd be here, I had a hunch someone that I needed to use to instill the fear of Candyman into all the people of Chicago again would be coming around. Don't ask how I would know this. The movie is confusing enough as it is. I'm William, by the way. Would you like a pen?
One October, a razor blade shows up in a little white girl's Halloween candy.
Now we got razor blades and Halloween candy? This movie is stacking urban legends on top of other urban legends. Maybe the title should have been changed to something more original, like Urban Legends Final Cut. I mean, who would ever name a movie that? Taking candy from a stranger.
But that wasn't the last we saw of him.
Movie cuts to the next scene as if Anthony said, I don't care where this story is going, I have to go paint.
Oh, I told you months ago to put her in rehab.
And I said no, no, no.
Over time, his name disappears and he just becomes the Candyman.
Who can take a sunrise Sprinkle it with dew. I mean, roll credits.
It's a pretty literal approach. Not much room for viewer interpretation.
What I told my college girlfriend after my first viewing of Joe's Apartment somehow makes its way into this movie. Also, Brianna would be excellent at CinemaSins.
I thought that we could
What did you think?
summon him.
I get not wanting to believe in urban legends and whatnot, but also, why take a chance? Does your night end any better if you say the name 5 times in the mirror? I mean, you're probably more likely to get fun time with Brianna if you don't try and summon the dead man with a hook, but you do you, Anthony.
What happened to your hand?
This is oddly enough the only time Brianna will ask about his hand, even though he gets a wicked infection which starts affecting that entire half of his body. Be a better partner, Brianna. The upside, down. Unless Helen was trying to emulate someone while dying in a fire, I'm pretty sure this should say self-immolation.
Brianna, tell your boy not to hug the critic.
To be fair, the critic spoke to Anthony
It's quite a departure from your previous work.
before he ever spoke to her.
Speaking didactic knee-jerk cliches about the ambient violence of the gentrification cycle.
Finley would be terrible at CinemaSins.
I love interventionist strategy.
Since this and everything this character says seems to be designed to paint him as an asshole, I'm going to assume that starting a conversation with interventionist strategy is the art world's version of taking a bite out of an apple.
I know. I'm on the new one.
I know.
Movie has time for this. Also, sleeping with your interns. Clive gets to live way longer than he should.
Honestly, if she can't control her man.
This Clive complaint carries on for all the some time.
Love will tear us apart.
Jesus, Jerica, we get it. You like Joy Division.
Joy Division shaming or naming your daughter Jerica. Either works.
I don't want you to die tonight. At least, not until we.
If this wasn't what Donna Summer was singing about in Unconditional Love, then I no longer know what to believe.
Necrophilia's always been on my bucket list.
There's a way too obvious sin here, and you know me and the low-hanging fruit, so the sin, as always, is bucket lists. I don't know what disturbs me more, f***ing Clive or that Jerica clearly had this attached Clive with part of my buckle to me later plan all f***ing day.
Candyman.
I can't believe I'm sticking up for Jerica, but she does have her eyes closed for most of these Candymans, and therefore is not looking in the mirror. Therefore, this summoning should not work, but it f***ing does. How exactly does the bee summoning work? Do they smell his open wound from the first sting? Does he just think the word bee and they show up? Do people actually like Bee Movie? I have to know. Yes, Anthony, the bee is somehow on the other goddamn side of the mirror. Maybe it's time to get the f*** out of the apartment till you can figure this shit out. No? Just gonna hang out? Great plan. I really feel like Clive is kissing Jerica here for a little too long after she was hooked by Candyman. Pretty sure Clive is on Santa's naughty list this year. Yeah, that wasn't a great way to end a sin. What do you want from me? My blood? I know it wouldn't stop Clive from mounting me. Also, Clive Barker must have really loved that this character was paying homage to him.
Is this real?
Who the f*** would think this was a joke?
Must go faster. Let's go faster!
Making a reference to Independence Day, referencing Jurassic Park while trying to escape a supernatural entity that has marked you for death. Not going to the hospital for this hand.
The bodies were discovered in front of a piece from rising star Anthony McCoy entitled Say My Name.
There's no reason other than the plot of this movie for the police or the press to immediately connect the murders to Anthony's art, especially since the murders also occurred in front of these weird foil faces. If I were that artist, I'd be super pissed that they left my name out of the news story.
Are you okay?
You mean other than the horrible infection and the festering wound on my hand, Brianna? No, I'm good.
Some of the things that have happened to Cabrini over the years.
The library had to pull this recorder out of archives, and not only does it still work perfectly, it also apparently had batteries in it. Either that is bullshit, or I don't know how libraries work. All the mirrors in this conveniently mirrored elevator being this clean. As the story goes, Sherman wasn't the one putting razor blades on the candy, so aside from this being a good way to make us all uncomfortable with candy, why is this a thing for the character now?
So Ruthie called 911.
When your mom calls and you don't pick up because the story is not ready for that reveal yet.
You should say it.
Say what?
Say his name.
The use of the phrase "say his name" in this film connects recent social discourse to the lore behind Candyman, creating an incredibly powerful metaphor that resonates throughout the film. So much so that I think it would have knocked a sin off the counter whether or not I said anything.
Careful.
Careful, go to the damn hospital. Reading.
They cut off his arm and jam a meat hook in the stump.
So the final step this angry racist mob took in the torture of Daniel Robitaille was replacing his hand with a potential weapon? Was the plan always to create a vengeful spirit that comes back from the dead to terrorize generations to come? Because that is the only way this makes a lick of sense.
That's Candyman.
Who can take a rainbow? Sorry.
What is this?
These are paintings, and compared to Goya or Caravaggio, they are not that disturbing. So this reaction comes across a bit contrived.
I told you not to start dating that Dapper Dan ass little
Basquiat-ass no job sunrise.
That has got to be the most culture-laden insult I have ever heard in my entire life. I'm not even angry. But name drops are always more about you than the reference, and selfishness piques my cynicness.
You can stay as long as you want on the condition you don't try and summon Candyman.
Who would do that?
The people in the following scene that is here mostly to pad the body count. I mean runtime. Both? It's hard to hear, but one of the girls in the background uses the word fooked. The sin, as always, is kits.
Guys, what should I do about my bangs?
While I agree there's probably not a single person in this world who cares about anyone's bangs, I don't understand why having full-on discussions in a bathroom is a thing. Those places either smell like disinfectant shit or just simply shit. Do your business and move on and have the conversation in the hallway. Now she's kissing the goddamn mirror? Please refrain from putting your lips on anything in the public restroom or really any restroom.
Oh, look at this shit.
Looking at chunky-ass vomit.
You're on, Boof. Don't be a pussy.
Letting people call you Boof, even if it's your real name.
What are you doing?
Builds more suspense having this kill off screen, and you get to do a cool blooderfall, but it doesn't make peering under the stall instead of looking around the corner any less strange. Oh, just fuck you, movie. No one wants to see a fingernail or toenail, for that matter, coming off. No one.
What happened to your hand?
His hand? What about what happened to his face, his neck, his shoulder? I guess I can see the bandage drawing some attention, but goddamn, how do you overlook the side of his face?
Went to River North Memorial near Cabrini. They fixed me right up.
They did not.
Something they used to call Candyman.
Don't say that.
I get that Anne-Marie wanted to protect her son, but one has to think if she had mentioned at least some of the details about what happened, this could have saved Anthony's life in the long run. If he ever came across a Troy who just had to tell a Candyman story, Anthony would at least know to stay the fuck away from that mess. Also, what does she care if he says Candyman now? They're not in front of a mirror.
He wanted you to burn in that fire, but she pulled you out.
Which makes me question how exactly this Candyman narrative works. If Anthony was always supposed to be a victim, then how did he get appointed to be the next Candyman exactly? I know William has some shit to do with this, and might be forcing some of the narrative, but not enough. If Candyman, or one of the Candymen, or whatever the fuck we're supposed to call them, are now aware of Anthony's existence again once he decided to dive into the lore, and why wasn't he just murdered by Candyman the first time he summoned it? All this is super creepy and suspenseful, but goddamn, it should make some sense.
And we vowed to never say his name again.
But you didn't have to make that vow. You just had to make a vow to never say his name 5 times while facing a mirror or any surface that gives off a reflection. It's actually very easy to talk about Candyman and not summon it.
Anthony, it is Troy. Come out immediately where I can see you.
Just want to point out, once again, this is kind of Troy's fucking fault.
The hell is going on?
Well, Troy is bringing clothes from the bedroom to pack them in a suitcase they left on the kitchen counter. Seems like it would be easier to just take the suitcase into the other bedroom. Oh, Brianna was referring to the fact that she can't find Anthony. Still, the suitcase thing is weird. William had pens made with the laundromat's name on them. Who the fuck is at a laundromat and thinking, oh yeah, I really need a pen? This is the goddamn Die Hard with a Vengeance aspirin bottle of pens, and you can't convince me otherwise. Why is Candyman visible in the glass behind Brianna? Brianna hasn't called him, nor have we seen anyone else call him at this laundromat. Why is Candyman?
Nope.
I see you, Jordan Peele. I see you.
I'm gonna pee on your bed if you don't let me in.
Well, that's just a weird way to reveal your villain.
What the f***? I was baptized here.
Thinking that answers Brianna's question of what the fuck in any way.
No!
He didn't get his arm amputated sooner. It was really getting gross. Brianna wisely avoided a basement earlier, but now runs down some stairs the first chance she gets. Now she's using her phone as a flashlight, but doesn't even attempt to call for help. Finally, she exits the tunnel and chooses to hide behind the first door she sees, instead of running the hell out of Cabrini Green. I hate it when a smart movie takes a smart character and momentarily makes their decisions dumb for the sake of story. Premature celebration. Pretty sure after the 8th or 9th stab, it's really hard to prove self-defense, Brianna.
I think he's dead.
Anthony pops in with jokes like he's about to perform his Type 5.
We're gonna get you help.
The police spend almost no time searching the complex, but every squad car somehow shows up at the exact apartment they happen to be in.
Candyman.
Why is she taking so long to get the Candymans out? Just blurt them out. There's no rule on how quickly or slowly you say his name. Also, Brianna only says Candyman 4 times in this scene. So I guess the movie is trying to say the first time she said Candyman when Anthony broke the mirror counts as one of her Candymans. But for something as simple as saying someone's name in front of a mirror, the rules of the summoning sure do end up being more complex and confusing than they need to be. Oh hey, it's Tony Todd's Candyman because, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense that he would show up because, guys, I've really got no f***ing clue what's going on anymore.
And above all, send the bees love.
Earth.
the only planet known to maintain life.
Oh, he must like you because he is really showing his ass.
Isn't he always?
Who grabbed my ass?
This is a story.
True story.
Of 7 strangers.
Pick to live in a house.
The queen needs food. The babies need food. The queen makes babies.
We can go now.
It's about time. I had a bad dream.
He wears a dirty brown hat. He's horribly burned. He has razors on his right hand.
Something they used to call Candyman.
Oh, no. No.
And you're a big baby.
I'm not a baby.
That's right. You tell him, baby.